Good day, viewers, and welcome to Reminiscences. Our guest today is Alhaji Sani Zangon Daura, Daura, whose career has spanned from the days of the Northern Regional Service, where he was an assistant district officer, to the North Central State, where he was commissioner in at least two ministries, to the Second Republic, where he was actually one of the founders of the National Party of Nigeria, and lately to the Third Republic under the government of Obasanjo, where he was minister again in Ministry of Agriculture and Environment. Thank you, sir, and welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We normally start with your background.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you tell us how life started for you?
Well, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Well, first of all, I did my elementary school in Zangon Daura. And then from there, I went to mid school, Katsina, 1948 to 1952. And then it is during our time, our certificate was school leaving certificate. But it is during our time that it was the school was upgraded to become secondary school. So I was supposed to continue, but my mind then was to go and study Arabic. So I preferred to go to Kano, school for Arabic studies, Kano. And that was from 1953 to 1957. And I graduated as a grade 2 teacher. But grade 2 teacher with a difference. We can teach anything to do with Arabic and fiqh. And also we can also teach arithmetic, English, geography, and so forth. I was employed by Native Authority, Daura Native Authority, to teach. So I taught there, I think, for another 2 years. Then under pooling arrangement between, because it's Katsina province, between the two emirates, Daura and Katsina, 3 of us were deployed to Katsina to teach. Myself, Abdu Zango, and Yusuf Aliyu. Myself, I was taken to Duthamma, and Abdu Zango was taken to Mani, and Aliyu Yusuf was taken to Katsina. So that is how it was. And then, while I was in Duthamma, within a very short time, the people accepted me. And they are also, we are also preparing for general election in 1959, because I was there in 1958, Katsina. So when I went there, so we became very close with the suspended district head and the people at large. And whenever his doctor came, I would go as interpreter. So in no time, as I said, I became very popular with the people. And I participated in the NPC programs, mass meetings, etc. So I became the spokesman even at the time of NPC. So while doing
was
so,
that the beginning of your involvement in politics?
yes, yes. Apart from the district head, the next set or level of power or whatever
The teachers.
are the teachers. So we said to the main party in Katsina, at that time it was being headed by Alhaji Musa Adua Tafidan Katsina then before he became Matoli. We said our suggestion is that any constituency should be allowed to produce, to elect one of their members from the same constituency. There is no question for imposing candidates from the center. And honestly, we succeeded to a certain extent.
At what point did you break away from teaching?
I will tell you now. From Nuzama, I was also redeployed to School for Arab Studies to go there as a teacher.
The same place you left?
The same place I left. I came to Kano.
Right.
From 1959.
Right.
I was there up to 1961.
Right.
So during that time, I took GCE.
Right.
And at that time, Arabic was included in GCE. Hausa was also included in GCE. Islamic studies was, Islamic studies or Islamic history.
Right.
All these were included. So I took Hausa, Arabic, and Islamic history. So I got Hausa at the advanced level. I went for interview because I wanted to further my studies. I was called.
Yeah.
At that time, it was Alhaji Sani who was the Minister of Education.
For the northern region?
Also the region. So when we went for the interview, you have to have testimonial. So it happened that my testimonial had to be given by Alhaji Hassan Rafindadi, who was also my teacher, who was also in charge of education then in Katsina. So he said the testimonial. Luckily, his secretary was very fond of me, one Bello Malufashi. At that time, my brain was very, very strong. My memory is very sharp. So he showed me what was written. They have written, Alhaji Sani said he's an intelligent young teacher, but he's too talkative and argumentative. His intelligence in politics is too dangerous.
His intelligence in politics
is too dangerous. That is how.
So he noted all those things you are doing.
Yes. So anyway, I got the scholarship. I was interviewed. Even from the interview venue, one of the members followed me. It was there in Kaduna. Followed me he was a Kanuri man. He said, "Congratulations, we are going to Baktaruda."
You're going to?
Baktaruda.
Okay.
Where?
Baktaruda is a school in Sudan.
In Sudan for further education.
Further education.
So I came back to Kano to continue teaching. So again, Alhaji Sani happened to be in Kano on a sort of official visit. When I heard of it, I went to him one evening in the Central Hotel about 4:30. And I saw him sitting in his chair. I went and greeted him and introduced myself and said, "Sir, I want to change my scholarship from Baktura to London, School for Oriental and African Studies, University of London." He said, "Thank you very much. When I go back, within 2 weeks, you will hear from us. And within 2 weeks, Malam Kabiru, I got the information, I got a letter approving my transfer from
Sudan.
Sudan to London.
To London.
So I will never forget this.
Well, it's at your own initiative.
Yes. It
Now,
is
how did you find London? What is it what you expected?
Yes. The environment to me, though conducive, but very hostile to me. So I stayed there from 61 to 63. But 2 episodes happened, which really make me hate the place. One, sometimes annually there is this anniversary of independence. And at that time we have about 3 regions. Each region has general. In fact, we had the meeting in Mayfair Hotel. So at that time, because if you stayed for 1 year in a council accommodation, British Council, then you know the places. Then you have to vacate, go and look for accommodation for yourself. So, but we are not far away from where we used to live. So, where we are living, there is what they call Gaban Sarki Gida. So his daughter was working in United States. So he came. And he heard that we are going for this party. So she wanted to know what is going on. So he asked me whether she could follow us. I said, yes, but I have to take permission from. So I telephoned one Lawan, who is personal assistant secretary to our agent general, Mr. Alanamu. He said, no problem. So as we are going along Lancaster, there is one corridor. So we met Teddy boys. They started abusing us because of that year.
Okay, these are hooligans.
Yeah, hooligans.
Who thought you are together with this English girl?
Yes. And even the English girl, she became very embarrassed. So we were able to go through and we boarded a bus to Mayfair, came back almost the same place. The same hooligans,
you met
or another set of hooligans. We met another hooligan, and they did the same thing to us. So from that time, I said, this country is no good for me.
It's overt racism.
Yes. The other one was when I was taken to trail lesson. I went into the tube, but it was snowing. So after getting out of the tube, walking to the house of my tutorial teacher.
Right.
Again, young English boys, they started running these snowballs and started throwing it at me until I disappeared. So these 2 instances made me feel that London is not for me. So in 1963, I came back to Nigeria because the law, or rather the rule is, after 2 years, you can come back, spend your holidays and go back. If we are single. If we are married, if you like your family to join you, they can join you. So when I came back, I was lucky because at that time the civil service were dedicated. I told Muhammad Daku, then he was the secretary scholarship board. Said I don't like to go back to London. I'd like to do my university here. So with this telegraph, he contacted University of ABU, Lagos, Ibadan, including Nsukka. And all of them, each and every one of them gave me a place to do economics, except Ahmed Bello gave me to do law. I said, no, I don't like to be a lawyer because I don't like to be telling lies. And I don't like to be influenced if ultimately I become a judge. Because at that time my parents are alive. And I know if I become a judge or something like that, some people with dubious information can come and try to persuade my father or some of our relations to talk to me. And if it is something that I know is wrong, I will not do. So rather than battle with them, disagree with them, I should keep away from it. That is why I didn't do.
So you chose the University of Lagos.
So I chose the University of
Lagos. To study what?
To study economics.
Economics.
But at the end of the day, it became business administration.
Okay. Because
there is one subject which we didn't do. And I graduated with that third class honors course. At that time, we continued with the politics of Nigeria.
Tell me about your experience in Lagos, because you left London, where you were facing racism, but you now came and met another kind of discrimination.
Black one. You see, immediately I came to Lagos. The first thing I was greeted with, as I was going to Ikoyi, at Tinubu Square, aged hooligans, because they see me in
house address.
They started abusing us and even hitting me while I was in car.
Inside the vehicle?
Yes, inside the vehicle. Without me myself provoking them. I did not talk to them at all. But because they saw me as a Hausa man, they started raining, abuses, and even hitting.
This was 1963.
1963. But all the same, we weathered the storm. So while we were in Lagos, we became a thorn in their throats. Two of us. We are not more than 14 from the north.
In the University of Lagos?
In the University of Lagos. But myself was late MT Abdullahi, Dr. MT Abdullahi Tukur.
Tukur, yes, the medical doctor.
Medical doctor, right. And Director-General of Junior Clinic. We give them hell.
You are political?
Oh, yes.
Yes. You formed this MPC
all university students.
Yes.
But we are the most active in Lagos. There was no week that we would not issue at least 2 or 3 statements, political statements. We had Suzuki.
What?
Suzuki.
Yes.
Motorcycle.
Okay, yes. Suzuki.
Yes. It was brought to us by Widi and Tijani.
We've heard the name. He was a businessman?
But what he's a good businessman, also I think money changer. So myself and Tukur, we trained ourselves how to type. And we will be in our room for 2-3 hours, up to 3 a.m., making statements and looking at it, reviewing it, editing it, until we got a very satisfactory copy. And early in the morning, I'll go to the NBC. I'll hand it. There is one, Odego Oresha. They were unbiased.
So
they will put it up.
So you broadcast it?
Yes.
You give it to the newspapers also?
Yes.
Newspapers?
No.
Okay. Only NBC. What were the statements like? What were you commenting on?
Well, we comment on, we refused, one, to be intimidated, and we refused to accept insults from our counterpart in South. We are protecting our leaders.
So you are kind of reacting to the sort of the political insult the northern leadership was getting then.
Yes. And anybody, I can remember that Ali Tsirima, later he became Al-Hakim, who was at one time, I think, managing director of Bank of the North.
He was, yes. Was he in Lagos also then?
He was, yes. They were the first set, were the second set.
Right.
He was completely Nefu-minded. But when he came to Lagos, completely back to MPC.
There is a story that you got hint, you and Dr. Tukur Abdullahi, you got hint about the 1966 coup.
Yeah, I will come back to that.
Yes.
I think it is important to know what resulted after the appointment of Ibaku.
Okay.
So still the Igbos were not happy. Say they organized.
Yeah, the school was opened.
They
wanted it closed.
Well, there, yes. So they organized. They got one Yoruba man, Adams. Adams was a radical student also. And he's a Yoruba man. They got him to their side. And this Adam, as Ibaku was going into the office, this Adam stabbed him on the back with a knife.
Wow.
But he didn't kill him. He didn't hurt him very much. So Adam was taken by the police, and I think that is the end of him. So the Igbo lecturers trying to have a support to have this decision rescinded. They flew to Kaduna to see the late Premier Samar Bello. They went. Mr. Premier listened to them. Said, okay, I know we have a son there. His name is Sani Zangon Daura. I will call him to hear the other side of the story. I was called and I went. And when I went...
By the Premier himself?
Yes. He was a very simple person. When I went and arrived at the house,
Kaduna,
his house, many of the ministers were there. So when I came, all the ministers disappeared quietly. They left me, myself, and Premier. Then he asked me about the problem.
In Lagos.
I explained to him everything. Then he said, okay, now you, as students, our student, what is your stand? I said, sir, don't get it, sent by the law. He was appointed by the governing council. Like Njoku, who was previously appointed by another council. So I was Biabaku 100%. He said, okay, we are with you. So he called them, say we are for Biabaku. And that is the story.
So this question I asked earlier, how did you get wind that a coup was in the offing and now warned, I understand, the ministers Shagari and Metamasuli?
Well,
this is the 1960s, the May coup of 66.
The assassination of our leaders, the murder. You see, you could see it, really. If you remember, in 1964, there was a boycott of election, general election. In 1964, there were two alliances, ABGA and NNA. NNA was composed of MPC, Niger Delta Congress, and
UMBC. It's not a middle belt.
No.
Okay.
Headed by Akintola. Okay. It's a faction of Action
Group, yes.
NDDP, I think, and NDP.
Yes.
So that is the combination of NNA. The combination of ABGA was NCNC, AG. For the first time, Yorubas
And Igbos.
agreed to go with the Igbos. Then there was NEFU. Then there was United Middle Belt Congress, headed by Taka. And I think, I'm not sure very well, whether Borno Youth Movement was with them, I can't remember. You know, Borno Youth Movement was created by late Ibrahim Imam as a result of his dissatisfaction with
NPC.
the NPC. Though he was the director, no, he was Secretary General of the party. So, as the tempo was getting hot, the political tempo, the campaign was getting ominous. Abga and their own thinking. Just before the election, about 2 weeks before the general election, they announced they had 18 unopposed candidates. On the following day, that was counted by NNA. They produced 68 unopposed candidates. So you can see the election is already won by NNA. So that angered Abga. And they declared publicly that they would not participate in the election, general election. Very interesting one. But the election day came. But because we have strong leadership, the election went ahead.
So the MPC-led alliance
Yes,
pushed
we
on.
went ahead.
Yes.
There was election in the whole of the north. But in the whole of the south, no election except in Ikorodu.
Ikorodu.
The constituency of BOS Benson.
Benson.
TOS Benson. And I think he won by 120 votes. So, Katakata started.
Yes, crisis.
Zik was a ceremonial president. He didn't have powers. Zik, in his own wisdom, though apparently a nationalist, but possibly carried away by tribal sentiments, he refused to do anything. So the country was
Hot.
getting not only hot, but disaster might occur. Anarchy might set in. At that time, the judiciary was highly respected because they have respected themselves. So, Sa'adatu Kuba Adebola was the Chief Justice of the Federation then. And there was also one member of the Supreme Court named Dan Ebekwe. This Dan Ebekwe was an Igbo man. So they went to see Zik. They said, look, unless you wanted chaos and anarchy in this country, you have no power under the constitution not to call Tafawa Balewa to form the government. They're advising you to do so quickly. Luckily for him, he accepted and he called Tafawa to form the government. That is the beginning or the birth of broadly based government. He said, okay, all wherever no election, go and do election. And that is how the broadly based government was formed.
Where were you when the coup happened yourself?
I was in the campus.
How did you, were you threatened? Did you feel under threat?
It was during Ramadan. And I was in my room. Two of us were in one room.
Yes. Is it a fact to say that this experience in Lagos, how you saw how the northern leaders were killed, you are as a student, how the taunting of you students, did it kind of define your attitude to Nigerian politics up to now?
In fact, it has made indelible impact and completely changed my mind about Nigerian politics, that we do not believe in ourselves, we don't like ourselves, we hate ourselves, we don't even believe in the country. And I still believe that Allah, who has put us together, knows best. But my own assessment from that time to date has not changed. We are just kidding ourselves, but we are still together,
What do you,
rightly or wrongly.
do you think then the solution is to really divide the country at some point?
Well, people like us will feel very strongly that it is better for us to part in peace than in pieces. So that they develop in their own way, we also develop in our own way. But the soldiers, particularly the officers who fought the civil war, they don't like to hear this sort of sentiment that Nigeria should break up, because they sacrificed their lives. Many hundreds of lives or millions of lives were lost. Properties worth trillions were lost in order to keep this country together.
But let me go back to this sentiment about whether the country can continue as one. It's mostly dominant in the south. The feeling is that in the north here, it will be a disadvantage to us with no oil, with no economic
Power.
to now pull out of a big country like Nigeria.
One, all factors of socio-economic growth are in the north. The north has 80% of the total land mass. And you know, land is finite resource. Two, and the most important thing, the people. Okay? If true and apolitical, non-political census will be conducted honestly, with commitment to the country. Even the South knows that more than two-thirds of the total population of the country are in the north. So when you have got these two factors, land and population, you are there.
You don't think that we'll miss the oil?
No. For anybody to tell you that we have no oil is bunkum. We have oil in Dasarawa. More than that we have in the south. But it is still the political ability or will to exploit. Go and check. We have gas in Bauchi in large commercial quantities. And gas today, the importance of gas is even more than that of oil.
Yes. Yes.
Almost everywhere in the north, Allah has given us mineral resources. I don't know their names except gold, etc., etc. Zampara. I think even in the world, we rank 1 or 2 in terms of mineral resources. The same thing applies to wannan kaga sunanta. This is Nasarawa.
Niger State.
Niger, even Sokoto, this uranium, even Katsina. We have each and every state of the north is endowed with all these mineral resources. But it is the ability, it is the political will that is lacking from our own governments. Each state can be independent of itself, can generate more than enough and more than enough to cater for their services, and do whatever. I believe sincerely, if we had got the right leadership, like we had during the First Republic, education would have been free from primary to university level. I'm sure each state can do that instead of squandering the money for nothing.
Let me take you up on this question of leadership. You have been a leader in the North yourself for a long time. So some of us, the younger generation, will say, well, is it the failure of your generation to give this leadership that you saw firsthand with Sardauna that has led us to where we are?
Well, in a way, we have participated, but in our own little way.
You are commissioner at a young age.
When we came in, yes, when we came in.
You are minister.
Yes, when we came in, yes, commissioners. Myself and Umar Zamko Dikko representing the youth.
Yes.
We believe in good leadership. And we demonstrated it. And we tried as much as possible to see that the right people are put in the right places. But subsequently, unfortunately, when politics came, it started to become money politics. Good people will not be elected unless they have money, and this is what has landed into this problem today.
Let me take you to the Second Republic. You played a role in the formation of the MPN. You talked just now about money politics. Why did you not play a role like your colleague Umar Dikko? You are commissioners together. In MPN, he now became a big factor, minister. But you were actually edged out of the MPN. Why did that happen?
Well, they didn't like our views.
But I'm interested in why you didn't play any role in the government of the Second Republic, like Umar Dikko, who was Minister of Transport.
Very good. And eventually we come in Lagos to really inaugurate the formation of NPN. People like us, we were for Aminu Kano because of the role Aminu Kano played.
You wanted Aminu Kano to be president?
Yes, after the assassination of our political leaders as well as military leaders. The people he was at the forefront in bringing Arewa back together with Tarka and others. Then the question of presidential candidates started coming up. In between, Maitama Sule was still at that time as Chief Complaints Commissioner. And I told him point blank, if Aminu Kano was coming, we are not for you. We are for Aminu Kano. And he said he believed in what I said. Eventually, he left that post of Chief Complaints Commissioner and then joined politics. So when he joined, we are for him. So there are so many factions now. The government wanted Adamu Chiroma.
That is the military government.
The military government. So Muhammadu Daura was sent to me by late General Shehu to support Adamu Chiroma. I said to Mama, you know, I cannot do that. Everybody knows me with Maitama, and we are promoted Maitama. I cannot switch over to you. But we can work as a team. Your own team and our team, we can work together.
So why does that leave Aminu Kano? By then you have left
Aminu. I don't know. Aminu Kano has gone.
Yes, he has formed his party.
Yeah, he has gone. He refused to come because I think somebody was telling us one Mekano, is it Mekano Dutse? Mekano Gorzo. Mekano Gorzo. Lawan Dambazo and others persuaded him not to join MPN. He will not be taken as presidential candidate. Let him form his own. Although he has got the bulk of support.
You think he would have made it as the
LPM position? I think so.
If he had stayed?
But that is how Allah willed it. It means that
he left.
Yes, so he left. So when we agreed on this partnership, so we continued on this. We said, okay, if in the process Adamu is more acceptable, we'll give him.
Yes.
If on the other hand, Maitama was more acceptable, we'll put him.
Why did Shagari beat all these people?
The candidates, or rather delegates from Sokoto, headed by one Shehu, a businessman, I can't remember the full name. They didn't like to take Shagari. Members from Sokoto, they don't like to take him. But it is Isiaku Ibrahim who prompted them and outmaneuvered them to go for Shagari, because he said, philanthropy has no candidate but Shagari. So that rang a bell to the delegates of Sokoto. They had to change their mind. If somebody from another state said they have no candidate but Shagari, so I think that is how Shagari got it.
So that's how you didn't...
in Azua.
Okay. So that's why he had no role in his government throughout that period.
No. But no, he gave me, in his book, he gave me chairman Impressive Baccalaureate.
Yes.
But we are really being hunted.
There is one government where you played an active role, that of a minister, the Obasanjo government. How do you assess that government? And perhaps I should follow that up by saying, why did you leave just after 2 years?
So there are quite a number of incidences, which quite a number of people know, but I don't have to recount them all. So all of a sudden,
you were Minister of Agriculture.
Yes.
What is your assessment of Obasanjo as a leader in his government?
Well, Obasanjo, to me, though parochial, tribalistic, but he's a leader. He takes decision. He doesn't wait. And he's a very hard-working president, really.
You know, I will come to the question of General Buhari, because while you did not formally take part in his government, you are a very strong member or advisor informally. Am I right to
So you could be right to a certain extent.
But you had the...
of course.
Yeah, access.
I have access.
Indeed, it is some people who say you are all the member, part of the
no, they said everything. It's speculation. General Buhari is a system person. Anything that will not go through the system, he will not do. But anything goes through the system, it comes to him, he will do. Because he believes is that they are given a trust, they are holding the trust as honestly as they can. That is in fact, many people take unfair advantage of him.
Yeah.
Because he's a system person. He will not ask his minister to do this. Or I will send you this. No. No matter how close you are, he will not ask his minister to say, Sani Zangon is coming, please help him. So they have different governance styles.
Yes. But why do you think it took him so long to appoint his ministers? That's one question that keeps coming back.
Well, quite frankly, as I said, he's a system person. He wanted to find out coming in, although he has been in the mill, because there is no post that General Buhari has not held.
Absolutely.
Before coming for a second time to become the president of this country.
Yes.
But he has seen it a lot. A lot. He has seen a lot of it. He felt betrayed.
By who?
Well,
his appointees?
By his colleagues and his appointees. And I know people have been complaining. But my own personal assessment of the whole situation is that he is trying to make best use of them. Because it is when they started understanding, any minister who comes to a ministry, it will take him, particularly if it is a big ministry, it will take him 2 years before he gets to know what is there, what is even required of him. So by the time he starts getting familiar, aware, knowledgeable with what is going on, if you take him away and take him another ministry, you are not helping him. You are not helping the system. You are not helping the ministry, because you are bringing also a new person who will start all over again. So the question of going forward is not there. So it will be much in time.
Is the overall result justified by this policy of keeping people irrespective of really performance?
Well, I think, as I said, it's a question of to whom you are talking. But there is always tendency when you spend too long, you become a little bit complacent. There is that tendency.
And I think the common opinion is that it happened with his government.
Well, that is the general perception. And people also say he is not Buhari of
the military days.
1984. But he too, I think at one time he said, now I have matured. I have gone through so many bitter experiences. The things that I used to take then, I cannot take them now.
It's true.
Yeah? He too, I think, made that concept.
There's something about, and I'll give an example that I saw in a Daura forum of elite. And there is this complaint that even the Kano-Katsina road, the main artery, the Katsina traders and whoever is, has not been completed in 8 years.
Well, again, it's a question. It is, I think, toward the end that he realized that the gentleman who was there as Minister of Works has not been very helpful and useful to him.
Let me ask you about this old problem about Katsina and Daura. It's one of our elders. Why does it exist, and how can it be dealt with? There seems to be these differences.
Well, I think it has been narrowed. At one time, when we are growing up, We didn't have the manpower. Katsina had. So even some head of our works department were from Katsina.
We have not touched a lot of your life in business. I know you have been involved in many businesses, and now increasingly your attention is on this Marian Foundation. Can you tell us a bit about how having made money, you are now spending it in this foundation or in a wakaf, as it's called in Arabic?
Well, quite frankly, as Allah willed it, after we were toppled by late Muhammad, after government was toppled,
Yes.
so automatically all the governors at the state level were also toppled.
Yes. That's in 1975.
1975,
Yes.
July.
The coup, yes.
Coup.
Yes. So you lost your job then as commissioner.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was supposed to go back to service because I was a civil servant
Yes.
when I was picked up.
Yes.
So I said, no. I would like now to go private. So the first company that approached me was Taylor Udo, Nigeria, doing township roads. I don't know who gave them my name up to today.
Yes. So they approach you.
They approached me to appoint me as one of their directors.
Directors.
Well, they know I have
Connections.
connections. So I said, thank you very much, because those who are taboo, they are supposed to be taboos. People don't like even to deal with them. So I accepted. And instantaneously, the managing director, Shepard, still were together, although retired. He's a Scottish.
Yes.
He's Scottish.
Yes.
We are still together.
Yes.
He said, okay, we'll also give you some participation in the company of 150,000 naira.
Shares.
Quite frankly, I told him I didn't have the money. And I didn't have. He said, we will loan it to you. So they borrowed me, paid. Eventually, I paid them.
How big is your portfolio of properties?
When you say portfolio, what do you mean?
I mean, what I mean is how many cities and how many places are you involved in property building? I know Abuja, Kaduna.
No, Kaduna and Abuja.
Kaduna and Abuja.
Kaduna and Abuja and Kano. And even my hometown, except for my house.
What of abroad?
Abroad I have. I used to buy and redo it and sell. So even now, we have a flat of about a block of about 9 flats renting out, in addition to my house.
Yes, in London.
In fact, I had quite a number of houses, so I sold them. I sold at least 2 and brought the money here. And this is how I started here. So we are also able to get a contract in 1984 for the supply of vegetable oil. Kings. So there also we have made some money. Also, supply company, all this from Nigerian supply company. We are also to get milk, pink. Peak milk.
Yes.
We are able to supply about over 2 million cartons. So the commission is as a quote 20 company, 20 something like that. So all this together, and we are not greedy. So alhamdulillah, that is how I was able to make some money and also concentrate on property development. We had a company which is called Northern Property Development. In fact, this place at one time was owned by it.
This property in Kado, this is an estate in Kado where we are.
Yes. So now it is It belongs to our endowment fund now.
But you still live here in the estate yourself in Abuja. Do you prefer Abuja to Kaduna, where you are better?
Well, we are trying to see that the whole thing has taken roots and is running quite smoothly. So if there is any problem, we come in, we discuss it, we sort it out.
But do you prefer living in Abuja now, personally?
Well, I think when the chiefs are down, I have to go back to Kaduna. Preferably, I would have preferred to go to Daura to live.
No, you don't go much to Daura now?
No.
Yes.
No friends now.
Yes. What of foreign travel? Do you go to?
I do once or twice a year. I used to do it frequently, but now I do it once or twice a year.
Only London or even
London or Saudi Arabia or Dubai sometimes.
Yes.
And other neighboring African countries.
You are 86. You still look very strong.
Alhamdulillah.
Do you have any serious health challenges, or does walking really?
Well, not much really. I have been a very healthy person, but sometimes after a very long time, I used to get malaria. But during COVID, I was a victim, but luckily I was out of it.
Okay. What other habits do you have besides walking that you think helps to keep you fit?
No, apart from that, I just go inspect, go around, see how the buildings are carried out.
What of diet? Any restriction?
Diet, well, I try as much as possible to keep away from anything that is sugary.
But you do take it?
Not much.
Okay.
Not much.
What of other things, beets and proteins and all those
proteins, things? I do, but not much. I don't like too much protein. Now, even meat now, I am very careful. I eat only very small.
Tell us a bit about your family life. You have lived a long life. Does it translate into a large family?
Yes, we are a large family. We are so many.
You don't count?
Now I have, I think, 43 grandees. I think 43 to 45.
Grandchildren?
I have 3 wives. So both of us were getting all together.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Sani Zangon Daura, for this very interesting and revealing interview. And viewers, I hope you stayed with us for this unusually long conversation. Alhaji Sani Zangon Daura, Masanin Daura, who, as you saw, traversed all these periods of Nigeria's history. And he's still around to tell it.
We are still kicking.
Until we meet in another edition of Reminiscences.